How can this help you learn Japanese? When you start learning a new language, it's all about data acquisition. By that I mean memorising as many vocabulary and kanji as possible. Obviously you pick up grammar along the way, but you really need to bulk out your word stock before you have any chance in hell of making it to the end of a sentence without reaching for that Jisho. Once you've become saturated with words and all relevant conjugations, it's time to apply what you've learned in the form of reading practice. There is a small issue, however, which is that reading resources for adults can be a bit scarce. And I mean genuine reading resources, not children's books about goldfish or Oshiritante, the crime-solving anus. As adults, our brains are already far more developed than those of the children we envy for speaking Japanese so much better than us. Damn kids. However, we need more engaging reading resources to practice with. Sure, we can read news websites and blogs, but the thought of sitting down just to practice reading makes me somewhat suicidal. If only there was some way to make reading practice more fun. If only there was some kind of game, some kind of video game. Oh, yeah. Oh, hello. Switch. I introduced to you the Nintendo Switch. There are several reasons I picked the Switch over the gaming systems, but the critical fact is that it is region free. This means I'm able to import games from Japan, ones not released in the West, and they will work on my UK unit. Also, by creating a secondary Japanese account, I can access the Japanese e-store and download the games directly. This saves me days of staring at the letterbox waiting for a parcel to arrive. Every game that exists in Japan and the West now has Nihongo as an option to select on any console. All I have to do to play games in Japanese is go into the system settings and turn the default system language from English to Nihongo. Magical. So now we can just reading practice. God, finally. We can take Zelda as a perfect example of a game with a disgusting amount of text, paired with the fact that furigana are displayed above all the kanji, meaning that if you don't know any, you'll still know the readings and it'll help you to learn. My usual setup is to have my Jisho and Anki deck on standby as I play. As I come across a new word or kanji, I can use the Jisho to look it up, find the definition, and then I can create a new card in my Anki deck, which will then bring it back to me in a few hours, meaning I won't forget something that I've just learned. It also doesn't hurt that the system is fairly portable, meaning you can play on your daily commute, your lunch break at work or school, or hiding in the toilet on a bad first date. Just be aware of where you are before you get too excited about all these fantastic new words that you're learning. For a more laid-back speed and total immersion, you could try Raging Loop. This is a Japan-only mystery drama kind of game, which is predominantly text-based. This means you'll do pretty much nothing but read text in this game, which is great for practice, and you'll encounter a whole array of different characters and interweaving storylines, which will really help you practice the more complex aspects of grammar. Also, there's no official English translation, meaning you'll have to persevere ever so slightly harder to make it to the end of the game. I recently just found out that the popular Japanese game streaming service Niconico is now available on the Switch as well. This ends up being a helpful resource for two reasons. The first thing is that most videos are usually narrated by popular Japanese gaming YouTubers who use fairly casual language, which can really help with your comprehension. The second is how users actually interact with the videos. All comments made, instead of appearing below the video like on YouTube, they will actually fly in from the side and go across the video. This means you can read the comment and also see the visual cue at the same time, giving you a bit more context to help you figure it out. Of course, it goes without saying that a lot of these points I'm making don't just apply to this one console. You could pick up a Japanese 3DS and try out some Dobutsu no Mori action, or an old Super Famicom and try out some of those classically difficult JRPGs. Although if you do own a Switch, some are actually already available on the system. The Seiken Densetsu collection is a trilogy of fantasy adventures that will take the reading level from 10 to Lord of the Rings as you grapple with made-up words and some unusual kanji. What I'm trying to drive home here is that gaming in Japanese can be a very effective tool. It puts you in a position where your progress in the game is pinned on your understanding of the language. Especially games like Zelda or Raging Loop, your directions are almost always given in the form of fairly complex sentences, so in order to progress you have to extract the critical information from the sentence. It's this aspect which I find sets it apart from more standard forms of reading practice. Sure, you can read a news article, but it has no context for you in that moment, meaning that your brain isn't working as hard to figure it out. This means that anything you've learned from reading the article is much more likely to fade a lot quicker. Of course, this is just an approach that works for me, but it's no big secret that a lot of people studying Japanese have a big passion for gaming, anime and manga, so it makes sense to turn an activity you may already be doing for fun into study at the same time. So give it a try. You may find that those long study sessions become a lot more bearable.